Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support. Any kind of updates, usually I go about on Twitter X. Yesterday, I did manage to publish the last episode of Planet of Lana. Probably I will do the next gaming series, which is, oh my god, Jusan, next week. I still need to wrap up some recording and editing on that series. So I will give myself some time here to do that without a lot of stress here. And I will probably introduce that series next week. In the meantime, you can check out the Planet of Lana app gaming series and also the other completed gameplay series there. Other than that, that's basically what I got for channel updates. Let's go to the news. I yesterday covered the performance of the laptops of the RTX 50 series, which hovers around less 50% performance. And the only positive note on that was at the time at a quarter of the power consumption. Now we got the pricing, and as you can imagine, it's a lot. We got starting, for example, the variants, and it says here available on quotes. Again, I'm assuming that given that we have the desktop variants, not a lot of inventory, I will assume it will be the same for the RTX 50 laptop stuff. It's going to be the same story here. But in terms of pricing, got a 5080 laptop starting at $2,500 and the 5090s around $4,300. Again, might as well build a desktop GPU without the 5090 and still play games at 4K at full blast with the GPU that you selected. Given that again, 50% less performance for I don't know. $4,000, and again, this is starting point of the some of these laptops. We got, for example, this one, $5,000. This is the MSI Raider A18. I think it's 18-inch screen. It's got the 9955X 3D, so I will assume it's a cut down version of the 9950X 3D GPU. Got some decent RAM and some 2 terabyte SSD. Again, as you can see, got a list of the supposedly laptops that will bring the 5080 and 5090 GPUs there. Again, it's too much. At least that's my position here. Given that even for $2,500, you can still build a pretty capable 4K system for the desktop, including monitor and even peripherals. Yeah, again, for especially again, I understand people needing a laptop, for example, to work in several places. They don't have a fixed spot to put a desktop there, but spending this amount of money just for a laptop to play games, might as well give yourself. I don't know, give yourself a little corner where you can, and just put it a little table, and you can assemble even a smaller PC case. You can assemble a huge amount of a system there that can play games at 4K 60 without any worries at these price points here. Yeah, it's not looking good. And continuing with not looking good for NVIDIA, it seems that they are going to have some troubles selling their newest Blackwell Ultra, the GB 300, given that a lot of clients are showing hesitation. Supposedly, again, this is a report from CTEE. But yeah, again, I think it's a little bit of the, I don't know, the announcement of the DeepSeek stuff there, which demasked the hype or the FOMO of and the marketing around the hardware that you need to develop AI workloads. Again, even if you take into account that the DeepSeek doesn't cost that or cost more than they said that will cost to develop that AI software. The fact that it needs less processing power to do an equivalent or near equivalent job as, for example, the latest version of ChatGPT. I think that that's how things go. I think these kind of huge clients like Microsoft and all that jazz, they are saying that yeah, we probably don't need to invest a lot of huge amounts of money, like millions of dollars, just to I don't know, go through the motions of supposedly getting an extra more juice on being more quicker. And given that the fact that we got, if the issues, for example, that we've been seeing with Blackwell on the client side, for at least for gamers, the missing ROPs, the issues that we've been seeing in terms of support, black screens, like these little things here, to a certain extent, they will probably be trickling up. We got some of the things that we had from the previous generations. I think it was the GB200, so uh, the Grace Hopper stuff there, and the fact that these big clients had a little bit frustration, sorry, how long it takes to set up those kind of server racks, and the fact that when you have any kind of issues, supposedly only NVIDIA is the only one that can debug the problems and solve them, which again leaves the clients completely dependent on NVIDIA when some issue arises. And again, if you have in this kind of big corporations or big companies, if you have something that you need hardware to make money, and if you have to shut having issues with the hardware, you have to shut down, so you're not making money, then you are dependent on the third party to solve the issue. And with that said, you probably have delays. The fact that on the GB200 they had a lot of demand, so I'll assume they NVIDIA doesn't have like huge amount of teams to do all this servicing and troubleshooting and solving these issues. Again, it leaves the companies I don't know hesitant on buying the newest product, given that usually when have a newer product, there isn't any kind of proof that the hardware will work flawlessly. And with that said, I think they are switching more on stuff that has already proven itself to be reliable in a certain way. Which, by it makes sense. Companies prefer to have to make a little less profit if the hardware they are dependable on is more proven to not have any kind of issues. And yeah, even the GB200 had a lot of issues in the fact that it could not deliver the amounts that were promising to deliver. And the fact that this GB300, the newest one that was announced, I think they only can make it in terms of full production next year. So they're already announcing something today, promising that they're going to have stock of this to sell clients. But again, we know that the in terms of full production, they're going only to be able to ramp it up next year. Yeah, which demonstrates that yeah, I don't think that this year is going to be very good for Nvidia. Hopefully not, but hopefully they will start learning their lesson, especially Jensen here, on trying to not fall in the mistake of overpromising and underdeliver. I think good philosophy with these kind of things is underpromising and overdeliver. It looks better, and again, when you have low expectations but you still jump into the situation, and you have better results than you were promised. Again, it's always good on the client side to have those lower expectation by the fact that you're not over promising anything. But yeah, let's see how it goes if NVIDIA can put their things together. The fact that NVIDIA also is more on the designing side of things and not on the producing side of things, because they are also dependent on the packaging things on these chips. They are dependent on TSMC. I think it also has its own issues. They are dependent in terms of output in what they can deliver. They are dependent on TSMC. But yeah, a lot of it, I think it's a lot of it, it's NVIDIA's fault. Because if you have the good design chip, I will assume that when it goes into production, there's going to be less issues than if you have some faulty design issues. Again, when it's going to manufacture, again, you will for sure will see that those issues come about there. Yeah, basically this is it in terms of industry. Let's see how NVIDIA can handle this. I think AMD is on a better position because they are, in terms of market share, they are lower than NVIDIA, if not mistaken. And I think from what they've been delivering in this kind of server stuff there, I think they have more proven grounds in terms of reliability. They might not be as high performance, but I think they are more reliable. At least that's the perception that I got from the news that I've been reading. But yeah, we'll have to see how this will unfold throughout the year. And because sometimes I cover this because with the GPU side of things on the DIY market, usually we get the the spares or the things that are not good enough in terms of products. Usually it's what we got there. So if even in the high end stuff there where they make their money, if things are not going that well, it will reflect itself on the DIR market. So that's why I usually try to get around and cover from time to time this kind of things here. But yeah, in terms of games, we got more layoffs again. Who would figure this out? Again, this is something that we're going to see. I don't know, in the next at least couple of years. Um, Again, this to a certain extent, one of the factors of this kind of layoffs is the fact that during the lockdown periods from 3 4 years ago, a lot of companies thought that was the new normal. Having a lot of people with a lot of free spare time that could invest or spend their budget more on games, and they thought it just again they could just inflate the numbers in terms of employees and just mass produce games and everything will be okay. It's a factor. There are a lot of other factors there. And we got at this in this case Eidos Montreal, which laid off in the latest one, or is going to out in this latest layoff spree 75 people. They already did last year, in the beginning of last year, around 100 people. January last year, so got that. Again, it's a shame. And I think when they fired these 100 people, it was because they canceled the new Deus Ex game. I don't know why they didn't go through this one. Again, there is a lot of demand for this kind of Deus Ex games. At least that's my perception. I did really like the last two games, Human Revolution and Mankind Divided, I think. We got the Tomb Raider franchise, which the last trilogy was pretty decent. We got the latest that they came out with was Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. It seemed a very underrated game, but I think it was a very good game. But yeah, and again, with this kind of layoffs, there's always this corporate talk that again they have to let go these valuable members, and usually it's not a reflection of their dedication or skills. So you're contradicting yourself, and they then try to reaffirm that they are very talented, highly experienced experts. That are going to enter in the employment market, so they are going to get out of job, and we are working to support them through this transaction. Again, if they are really that talented and highly experienced and usually good teams, good development teams that gel well, and they have especially when they are work together for at least a number of years, that is very hard to set up again. It shows that they don't see these people in these teams as a valuable asset, in the sense that it's not only about paying the paychecks. Is the fact that if you have a pretty good team, They will, if you give them a project that they are very versatile on, they will for sure will bring up a good game. But yeah, I don't think the higher ups, because the higher ups are just thinking quarterly earnings, so they need to lay off people to get less expenses by the end of the quarter to inflate the numbers in terms of income for the company. Usually that's how it goes. But yeah, this supposedly this laying off of 75 people is because they're cancelled of one of their mandates. Again, I will assume one of their games. And yeah, it's not good. There people are probably saying that something is not good regarding the Fable remake. Again, I'm not sure. But yeah, also there is some teams on Eidos Montreal. Some of the developers are still also supposedly were helping out. Sorry, Playground Grains with a Fable reboot. Again, probably they stopped helping, or that help was not needed anymore, and they just laid off those persons. Probably, again, we don't know. But yeah, um, you got also some sister studio, Crystal Dynamics. I think it's part of the same umbrella kind of a thing there. They also lay off 70 people. Crystal Dynamics supposedly is helping out with the Perfect Dark reboot, which doesn't seem pretty good. Again, they are working with the initiative in that regard. But again, this Perfect Dark reboot doesn't seem very good. It seems interesting, at least from the CGI trailer, mostly in terms of gameplay features. But again, I'm not sure if that game is going to be anything good. But yeah, as we can see, that we've got more layoffs coming. Again, it's one of those things that we will continue to see. Then we got in good news, the Sinking City Remastered is coming out, or at least it was announced. It will be remastered in Unreal Engine 5, and this version will be available for free for the owners of the original game, which is always good to see. At least if you're going to do a remake, at least make it free for people that already own the game. um, and it seemed to have some improvements here. We got the remaster up here and the original here. Again, this game seems pretty decent in terms of catching the vibes of Lovecraftian horror kind of a thing there. I think the detective part of the gameplay system seems pretty decent. In terms of the action, the combat, I think it could be improved. Again, that's the sense that I got from the reviews that I saw at the time. And again, supposedly with this remaster, there's going to be upgraded visual experience like 4K textures, new lighting, improved detail and reflection, 4K textures. Yeah, supporting the upscaling stuff and all that jazz. Supposedly, there's going to be also some improvements on the quality of life stuff there, and I will assume they will fine tune something regarding combat and the such. But yeah, it's interesting. At least it seems to have some improvements, as you can see here through the images. Even in terms of textures and details, you see more details here. At least from the preview here, you can see on the watch that there is going to have a little bit more detail, and again, seems less bland than the original one. And you can see here on the shadows that there's going to be more lightning improvements there. But yeah, again, it's one of those games. I got it on my wish list. Probably one of these days I will catch it on a deal and probably try it out for myself and see how it goes. That seems to be a pretty decent game. And continue with that, we got a little bit more updates regarding Monster Hunter Wilds. This time from kind of an open letter from the director, talking about this title update one. And he focused more on the PC version also, which is always good to see that finally that they are addressing the issue that a lot of people are having in terms of PC performance. Again, he talked about a lot of the title update in terms of content, what it brings, and balances, and tweaks, and all that jazz. But for the PC stuff, which the part that interested me most, they will launch improvements as reduction of VRAM usage, update to direct storage latest version, which should result in the overall improvement in stability. And they will continue, of course, working to identify any kind of more stability issues that people might have and make improvements wherever possible, so the PC version should see some improvements in the future. It's also good to see. Um, there's also some T stuff regarding changes coming in the future, like gameplay flow. Again, I didn't play the game, so I'm unaware what kind of updates that on gameplay flow might mean, and introduction also of layered weapons. Again, I don't know what this means. I never played the Monster Hunter game, but it will. It's quite welcome because supposedly some weapons don't look that good compared to the vast majority of other regular weapons. I'm assuming some of the upgraded weapons that you can do at this moment in time the don't differentiate themselves that much from the, I don't know, the normal weapons. And just a quick note that they already sold 10 million copies in 1 month, making it the best-selling Capcom game ever, I think, in terms of the same time period. Yeah, I hope these improvements will introduce at least also some. I think there is an issue mainly on the texture stream and how the game handles that. Hopefully, I'm not sure how direct storage can help solve that. Again, with VRAM usage, I think there's going to be some balancing there also regarding textures. Usually, it's what it usually occupies more VRAM space on GPUs, especially on the lower end. We'll have to wait and see how this goes with the Title One update. See if I can check any kind of I don't know review on that in terms of PC improvements. But I do recommend you follow up on Rurikans. He is very well knowledged in terms of Monster Hunters games. Uh, and I will leave his channel on the description below so you can follow him. He goes very in depth with this kind of information and gives his own opinion. He's very well versed on these Monster Hunter games. Usually, it's what I follow. I follow him for any kind of more detailed stuff regarding gameplay and lore and all that jazz. And again, I will leave his channel on the description. Then we got Death Stranding has surpassed 20 million players. Again, it's 20 million players, not 20 million sales. It was Kojima that announced this. I watched this yesterday on Twitter. Again, it's 20 million players because there was a time that they put it on Epic Game Store as free games, and I did claim for free Death Stranding on Epic Game Store. But recently I bought it on Steam. But yeah, it's good to see that it's 20 million porters across all platforms, including iOS and Amazon Luna. It's good to see. Again, this might be a good base of players, so they might be excited, at least as I am. And again, I didn't finish that training, but I'm really intrigued on the gameplay systems. Again, it reminds me in some aspects a little bit of Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain in some of the gameplay loop of upgrading stuff there. I don't think it's that detailed how you go about with Metal Gear Solid 5, but there is some kind of loop there that is seems reminiscent of Metal Gear Solid there, and of course the fact that you do the deliveries and you improve a lot of stuff there. A lot of the gameplay loop revolves around the deliveries, but again, the way you go about doing the deliveries is where the game is at, and the fact that then you can upgrade stuff there. There is some combat there. I didn't delve too much on combat stuff there. I usually try to do pacifist run when possible, and because also on game lore, if you kill somebody, they you might be able to get like an explosion. I completely forgot how they called the that phenomena. But yeah, start rambling. Yeah, 20 million portals, good to see. Hopefully, Death Stranding 2 is at least as good as the first one. And then we got some comments here regarding Yoko Taro on an interview, saying that when he was commissioned, let's say NieR Automata, it was made without worrying about overseas reviews, which is good to see. Yeah, he said that when he was developed the game, he was told by the producer itself, so Yusuke Saito, that he should make a game that targets the Japanese market without worrying about overseas reviews. or audiences. Again, people tend to forget what it's so enticing and intriguing regarding the Japanese games, or in overall Eastern games, is the fact that they do it without considering other audiences except for their own, and that's why they are very interesting to explore and learn something new. That their points of views, the cultural influences, and all that jazz, and their philosophies of doing games. I think that's what makes them sell that well. It's not the fact that trying to cater to overseas audiences that automatically makes more sales than that. And to a certain extent, oh my God, Shuei Yoshida also praised the game by the fact that revitalized Japanese game development and showed the Western audience they were capable to appreciate Japanese storytelling without special consideration. Again, the fact that they put here special consideration for other for overseas audiences. As a consequence of that, NieR Automata, as always, is being considered one of the most profound Japanese action RPGs in recent years. Again, it's always good to see that if they focus on doing games for themselves, let's say, they will sell pretty well if the game is good, of course. Then we got here a tidbit here of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Again, peak player count declined almost 30% in second weekend. They started off with 64K players on the first weekend, and it dropped down to 46K, which is around 29%, so 28.8 to be more precise. In terms of Dragon Age the Velguard, in terms of comparisons, it's the first weekend on Dragon Age, it was almost 90K players on the first weekend, and then it dropped for the second weekend around 61K, which was kind of almost the same, so 32% drop off. And people are comparing these two mainly because we already knew that Dragon Age Velguard will not be a very good game from all the previews and all that jazz. And even EA eventually admit that the game was a commercial failure and missed sales expectations 50%. So sales is the most important here to refer here. And again, Ubisoft has not provided any sales data of the game yet, even though they boasted about having 3 million players. Again, as I mentioned, it's 3 million players interacting. Most of them are, not most of them, but some of them for sure are free keys that were given, or even from free trials. The best way to describe it is for example, Xbox Game Pass, and people have access to that game for free for a short amount of period, and that counts as somebody interacting with the game. Then we got even in terms of sales, you cannot consider all sales are equal, because Ubisoft have the Ubisoft Plus subscription service, which is $18 per month. So people might have just spent $18 for a month, play this game, um, finish the game, and then just cancel the subscription. So instead of having a sale of $70, they have a sale of $20, and that's not the same thing in terms of sales. In terms of money, by the end of the day, supposedly there was some market research, and they estimate around a million copies were sold between Steam and PlayStation by around March 22. Again, this is not good. Again, for the game to have any kind of success, that Ubisoft needs to be, they have to have like Black Myth Wukong sales at least, to make it any kind of difference in a positive note. And even before the game was launched, the executive producer of the Assassin's Creed IP, Alexis Cote, they revealed that for them, supposedly internally, to break even, they need to sell between 8 to 12 million copies of this game, which, again, if they sold around, again, given the benefit of the doubt, even 2 million copies, they are long ways of reaching that number. And again, even I think even on launch, like a week after launch, or around about the launch, I think the Assassin's Creed Shadows was already with some deals in terms of discounts. I'm not sure. But yeah, this proves the point that again, you can market and go about and do all shenanigans trying to hype the numbers and make it look good for the investors. But at the end, if the money doesn't enter in the bank account of Ubisoft, it's useless. All the 3 million players interacting with the game if it doesn't reflect in sales there. And then last we got a collection here by the fact that we are today is April's Fool, and we got here a little bit compilation from Gamatsu regarding gaming stuff there. Again, some of most of them or almost all of them I don't follow in terms of games, but we got a huge list of stuff here regarding a lot of announcements for April's Fool. In terms of the games that some publishers do publish, and again, if you saw any kind of news that you thought that were weird or too good to be true, again, you can go for this list to see if it matches up with the fact that it's again April's Fool. And again, some of these things are just some of them are so ridiculous that if you think it's true, I don't know what to say. But yeah, in terms of news, what I got, let's go from some gaming deals. We have now Midnight Suns on sale, 85% off. Again, I do recommend this game. I think the Digital Plus edition should be a good buy. Again, I did manage to claim the game, the base game for free on Epic Game Store a lot of months ago. And I did do a gaming series on this one. I really did enjoy it. It's from the same guys that came up with XCOM and XCOM 2 and even XCOM Chimera Squad, if not mistaken. It's in the same line, but as a deck builder instead of having abilities. I really did enjoy the game. And if you are curious about that, this game, you just can check at least the first couple episodes to have an idea the game loop that this game introduces. But yeah, it's a little bit addicting, and you're always trying to do one more battle and one more turn there. Then we got also the Bioshock, the collection, 85% off on the collection there. It goes about $10 or so. So all free games, the remastered version of the first two, and all the DLC, season pass, all that jazz included in this pack. Again, a pretty good trilogy overall. I did do a series on Bioshock Infinite, and I quite enjoyed it. I already played the previous two in other computers with other accounts long time ago. And then we got also August Legacy. It's still on sale. A couple of days still left here, almost. So 75% off. We got also Atomic Heart, 67% off in all editions. There is a demo for you to try out if you want to see if it is something for you. I already played the demo, and it is on the playlist of the gameplay demos that I have on the channel. Then we got also No Man's Sky, again 60% off. Got the inclusion of the latest content update, which is Relics, kind of archaeologist kind of a thing there. Got your museum, you can put the fossil expedition, hunting, all that jazz. You can set up everything there. On GOG, we got Dishonored Complete Edition, so all three games, I think. So it's Dishonored Definitive Edition, Death of the Outsider, and Dishonored 2 included in this package. Seems pretty good. Again, it's one of those series that very highly regarded. So having a deal 80% off, I think it's might be a good one. Then we got 50% on Jagged Alliance free. We got also Metro, the franchise bundle, so all three games, the Redux version of the first two, Metro Exodus, and all the extra content included here. $15 is usual price here, very cheap, and again, it's one of those games that we that also is very highly regarded. Got then to finalize here, Wolfenstein. This is oh my god, I completely mistaken here. I didn't want to select. It's the two thing here. I will leave the correct link on the description. So it's a pack that includes Old Blood and the New Order for 75% off also, I think. And then you got Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, also 85% off. This is the Digital Deluxe Edition, which includes the Season Pass with playable content there. But yeah, this is it for today. I will wrap up here with a plug my Patreon for extra support as usual. This extra support is more in line for me to try and get a better storage solution so I can have backups of stuff that I do with my clients, and of course some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunami Master out.